Coming out of old paradigms and communication line centers. Everything's happening extremely fast in line center. Let me explain. Now, the arc is set up to rotations, ascended masters, communications, metric good workers. Everything through the line center is in activation core. High rising to position locations. Now, my voice is changed to higher level system rotation in another computer. So it's activating through its core line center. So it's going through all levels of my immune system, reconstructing all my cell line center rotations. The importance is understanding your health is number one in rotation to conditions. So it's all about understanding, put yourself in a higher level system. It's important you understand these things through calculations, right? I did very powerful videos yesterday on TikTok, exactly what's going on. A lot of people don't have a clue, right? Well, I'm trying to explain to you the most easiest way to understand what is going on with humanity. That's the most important thing we have to look at, right? So I hope everybody's doing well. Other than that, there's a lot going on. We're going to go through a paradigm shift. Now, this paradigm shift is going to put you in center line center. To the elixir, to the cosmic flame, and the serpent fire. It's going to center line your rotations. It's all in the computer line rotation conditions. It's activating everything through its core. The signature patterns and heat signature rotation centers is going to activate everything through your line system rotation conditions. It's high position to your graphs and communication cycles. So there's going to be two pyramid line centers in position locations. All right, we're going to go half and half our communication cycle. It's going to line strip locations, all positions of the sun and everything through the moon, and the flux capacitor line channel. It's going to put all channel rotation to its connections. All right. So how's it going, everybody? Yeah. So it's all about breaking free from your old and coming into the new, right? I send you guys a very powerful TikTok video of what's going on, how we're all in positions of 3 matrix. 2.0 is finished. That's the physical realm. That's all positions the higher self, right? So when you go to a higher level system, you come into the honeycomb. That's a plasma interference. That's a web graph line center. Each position is a simulation over timeline center locations, all right? Now, you all started off in 3 dimension, fourth riding its cycle into the river to that line system to its fifth dimensional line conditions, interference channel location. So in position, we come into all levels of the honeycomb. Now, there's 3 structures that you have to understand. You guys are already out in that connection, so you're good, right? This is going for new people that are basically awake but not aware. Okay, so and that's an important thing. You have to be activated to your system to that connections. It's mostly important to understand these things now. All right, that's to truly understand where we are all set. And the third one is all position of the simulation interface, the virtual reality of all games of you coming into the now, right? All through clocking system, right? But you have to break free from all levels of you as a child, right? And that means you have to go all the way back to the past, right? You break free from that, then you go to your child, into a teenager, into adult. But the baby is number one. The baby's number one, all right? Because that's the first cycle of twist rotation positions. Once you come out of that, you come into high level system. It's the same thing when you break free, when you come into the spiritual connections of its navigations. You come into a star seed, and that star seed is trying to understand you, right? So you're going back to the past now, trying to recognize what's going on with your soul, not the physical system. It's the soul that has to understand now, right? And there's 3 metric alignments we have to follow and go through, right? As I set up the matrix and I set up the simulation interface, this is all done through sequence. It's all done through time frame, all right? And that's how people are saying, well, I'm saying a honeycomb. What is that? Well, that's a second matrix alignment that you have to get out of. There's 3 of them, okay? And it's all positioned on what's going on. It's all a strategy. It's all the psychological system of you. It's all in the mind of imagination. And that's all we have to do is get into the mind, and everything else will follow that connections, right? So it's very cold in Mexico. As you know, I'm wearing so many levels of clothes here. All right, so let's get started here. Ellen is going. Yeah. Let's see. Don't worry about anybody that comes on to the location line centers. If everybody comes on and not who they think you are, it doesn't matter. They're going to have fallouts that location. So I don't worry about these things. People pretending who they're not. That's true understanding. So that's why we have a commanding force in that positions. Now you're going to find me on TikTok being a little bit more firm with people. right? Because they're putting on information that doesn't reside with anything through connections, you know? So, all right. So, Christopher, how's it going? Hey, yep. Speeding and exploding happiness to the minute second perfection. So grateful to be able to. Yep. Well, you guys are catching on very quick. So that's great. Take a deep breath. Yeah. Lots of love. Yeah. Just think about yourself. Party time. Yep. Party time. Oh, yeah. All in the heart system. Yeah. That's all it is. It's bringing humanity back in the heart. That's it. That's all it is. Yeah. Out with the old and with the new. Yeah. So we're going to go through all levels. You guys are going to see opposition locations to the new paradigm. All right. You guys went into your magnetic highways yesterday. Now you're going to go into your new paradigms. All right. Let's see. So it's in its clocking system. I got confirmation last night from Vega. So, oh, congratulations. 90th birthday. Nice. Okay, Jen, I'll talk to you later. Great that you came on. Let's see here. You guys are communicating. That's what I like to see. You know, you guys are communicating. Fantastic. Brand new upgrade. Yep. Jimmy, how's it going? Veronica, how you doing? I had stopped myself sending in my notes, clocking systems. Yeah, it's mind blowing, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It's extremely mind blowing when you come in that position. So let's get started, shall we? All right, so let's travel through those pyramids. It's already an activation line center. So let's get a true understanding how you can use your calculation line center to graph locations. All right, so we're going to go through graph line center. Kind of looks like this, the rotation. Let's see if we can get calculation line center in position. All right, let's see here. All right, so we're going to go through this color. Graph line center, line condition inference, program center rotation, communications. Okay, high channel edge line center. Graph its illumination light graph, communications, rendezvous, collective forces, DFLs, and everything to rebellion. Cover information line center. Two pyramids are coming to activation. One here, one allocated, and two rotation line center rotation conditions. Kind of looks like an iceberg. So I'm going to have two XT1000s in rotation in position like this. Calculations, right? Flying above. Now, this is a now. This is in the now. Everything I do is in the now. You guys have to understand what a paradigm is. It's a shifting line center to your position locations is putting you into self system, self now, self connection, self relation, self forcing, self guidance, self presence. Activate line center communications to high line center rotation conditions, high position location. All right. You guys are coming out of your portals, right? High line center rotation conditions. Operate communication line interference, program line center, pixel activation line connections, high positions to high line center rotations. Coming into sonar. Sonar is coming into rotation to its conditions, right? All right, so it's amazing how we do this through track system. Okay, it's setting up all levels of new ground line rotation. Communication and high rotation line center. You guys are going to go into the circle rotations of a new paradigm, a new shift line center communication cycle, activate to its core line center. You're going to travel through all levels of the ground rotations, everything through the power recognition line center to the atom line center to all rainbow activation line connections, interference channel to its line system through its rotation connections, high position to all levels of its diamond core line center, in communications in northwest, south, and east. Okay, you have to start how to go through a new paradigm because that's what humanity's coming into, right? Out with the old and with the new. All right. So it's centered line its position locations, activating everything through its core line connections. Channel interference in a TV reception line center to its calculations. All right. So in position, countdown on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Activate core line center, center rotation positions, coming in track systems, GFL, everything through Galactic Federation Light, communication and rebellion is centering up in position location centers. Here we go. Center rotation line center communications, center operation to its position line center. In positions, it's calculated and modified to all levels of your paradigm. So you guys are in the now position on northwest. east line center location positions into all flux capacitor of higher channel connections. Electrical lights are coming into high rotation. In rotation connections, high positioning to its high line rotation. All right, half an hour, have fun. It's amazing how they track this line center. So it's all good. It's all set up. Code lines are set up. Signals are rotation. You guys are going to go through your paradigms. All right, so what do we got here? Oh yeah, from yesterday, yeah. Wrong information, yeah. Yeah, vibrating. So it's all about understanding how to go through a paradigm shift. You guys have to know what that feels like. Your body vibration has to reach all levels of traction. And this is all done through vortex position locations, right? Because pyramids are teleportations. They're communications to all levels of cycles. So once you go through the paradigm, you get a true understanding of what it is. All right, we have to light up the pillars. It is in your voice box setting. Confirm. Yeah, passing some orange. Thanks, Alan. Wow, you did that first part so cool. I gotta see cause information moving on to orange, mega, big, bang, boom. See, that's the thing. It's coming into all levels of the theta, betas, deltas, and the omegas. You really have to understand how to use this 3-heart reactor. It's all positioned to you through calculation line center. So humanity is waking up more, right? So I'm getting into a new computer line. That's what's happening right now. It's surfacing at so many high levels. So it's important you understand your structures and your geometry line setting and communications, your computer programming rotations and your connections, right? So it's great when you come into that rotation line center. But it's amazing how you set up an operation to its conditions. Right? All right. The new color of light blue shining. Hitting those, yep. Getting in all positions to all levels. All right. Next, we'll get into the graph line center. Now, graph line center is communication to a cycle. It rotates your position locations. It tracks its beams and high line center rotation connections. It graphs its communication cycles with line rotation. So if you get an XT1000 in position, it scans on one line rotation connection. All right. Understand position locations equals box slash velocity equals graph. Okay. So you have to understand you're always in box of everything because that's you in the center, but you have to understand everything that you're doing through teleportation / velocity to positions, right? Now, if you're in a vector or anything a quadrant level, it would be VEC vector. You don't have to do all VECTOR. You can just do VEC, but it has to truly understand what you're doing through the conditions when you're calculating, modifying all levels of your XT thousand line center. So once you come into that, you come into your graph position locations to its line system, right? So in that compilation line rotation, it comes into its pyramid, right? See the pyramid? Now, that pyramid is activated to its core line center to the ground rotation to its conditions, right? Now, this is understanding how to read structure of the hieroglyphics. Now, we got into positions into conditions of prime numbers, right? Prime numbers is very important because you have to truly understand how to use this to the graph line center. In positions, it could be three weathers, could it be percent? It could be the sun, with line center. It could be an overcross to high rotation connections, line point, center line interference. It could be a flux capacitor wind channel. There's so many levels that it could be through rotation, right? So it's learning how to set up your graphs, right? Because it's all structure of you inside body to the ground positions and all levels of power in the absolute line center. So it opens up all position line centers to its graph. Right? This is your graph, right? Now, it's all positions to AI and its perception. Okay, so AI / maps. Okay, you guys have to do this all the time now because you have to really get into more calculation modifications when you communicate with Vega. So you have to go into high formations. AI / maps equals box, right? If you're not a box, you are a pie. If you're not a pie, you are a rectangle. If you're not a rectangle, you are a circle. So it's all position of what you're doing through travel, through these conditions, all right? So it's true to understand that you don't just have to use the box. You can do times pi, times square, times circle. And this gets more complicated. Now, we started with the pi, which conditions all levels of 3, 6, and 9, right? We start with that positions, okay? Now, you already understand how to travel through the direction of timeline. Very powerful. You come in that positions. Then you come into all levels of activation to its core line center and around. But the pyramid has to understand you through the cosmic flame, serpent fire, okay? Serpent flame, serpent fire, okay? And the elixir. All right. All right. So it correlates its panels, communicates to its system, and activates everything through its energy core line center and connections. Right? So the center operation to the pyramid is already in position locations. And this is how we go into the pyramid of activation of rainbow, right? Changes in the rainbow, how it's sonar's line center. You got two XT1000s coming in, right? And again, you can see the intelligence. But it's all about understanding how to use V vector line centers, all positions, flux capacitors, high channeling line condition, right? It's all done through computer graphs. Your computer graphs is already set in rotation to its position, right? So this is how they set up the pyramids. So the pyramids go in sequence, timeline center to all positions of the sun. The sun is the dial and the moon is the program. Now we already know that through calculations, right? It's very powerful when you come in that position. All right. So as it's coming in, it finds its way where it needs to go. So it goes here. Okay, this goes here. So it's truly understanding what you're doing, and everything has to be in sequence. Remember, I was talking about that bulk, how everything was out of sequence, out of the clocking center. That's a true understanding. You come into that modification line conditions, right? So it's all about setting things up in the graph, right? So it's given to you. You just have to put it in order, right? It's the same thing with your clocking system. Same thing with your clocking system. That's the important thing, right? So when I go through the activation cycle, everybody has a clocking system. We went through that calculations, right? All right, so this is how we get into prime numbers. All right, so we got the clocking system, right? So this one happens. All right, so 2 is over here. 12 is over here. So 12 is here. 2 is here, all right? So it's all mixed up, right? So the sun is confused, right? It's going back forth, line center, and everything through the moon is not setting up its program, so it stays in its bracket system. It has to truly understand what you do with your clocking system locations, guys. Right? So this is where you crash into line center, right? Again, there's intelligence. See? So the moon stays in bracket and it doesn't go anywhere until times pi through calculation. Once you're activating line center, everything goes back. 12 goes here, 2 goes there. Right? And that's what Ellen was talking about. So let's say 3 goes here, all right, and go position my conditions here, and 9 goes here. So it's confusing, right? So it's all about your positions and where you are through your sun and everything through your programs of your moon. Let's say you've been in your vessels for 15 years and you're not sure what's going on through travel. No wonder you're all messed up in the mind center, the psychological clocking, right? It's the clocking system of you. So once you go back to line center rotations, it takes you out of the equation location. Security line defense takes you out to its position location. All right. So it's really powerful how you come back in locations. That's the true understand what is all set up through that. Because we come into this, the rotations, bar graphs. See those? Those are bar graphs. See that? See the boxes? There's so many of them, right? Now, you have to truly understand how to go through all of them, all through your graph line center to AI position locations, box, everything through velocity, vector line conditions of its graph, position locations. So the information is brought to you, but you have to center it and put it in the right sequence. Okay? Because when you put it in the right sequence, it puts it in the pyramid, which basically activates the rainbow activation system. See? You just see me drawing the pictures, but you don't see the codes, right? Because the codes are already there, right? All between the two X2000s sending in the information system location, all through the flux capacitor line center channel. All right. All right. So let's get in positions. What you guys are doing here. All right. Yeah. Well, you're getting more aware of what's going on, right? Everyone is glowing such power. That's exactly what it is. So are you pipe going into a whole pipe of blue and green now? Yeah. Particles of sparkles. Yeah. Almost all pipes. Uh-huh. Let's see here. You're moving so fast. I just see sparkle you leave behind. Are those pyramids mountains or massive stone structures? Oh, these? These here? These right here? Right here? Yeah, these are mountains. We use mountains for tunnels and communication line center, but it's all about understanding how to have a pyramid and activation line center. So it's all positioned to its clock system, right? And that's how you activate the rainbow line center to its position to its flux capacitor line channel. It all positions in you through your graph system locations to its X2000 program setting. Okay. So I just activated, all right, the pyramid that you guys went in. So you understand what it is. You have to get a true understanding how to navigate it through it, right? So it's all about you guys coming into percentage and how you charge your phone, right? So you have to learn how to charge your vessel. And this is how you do it. Okay. This is how you charge your vessel. AI comes in position and sends you graph position locations of structure. You put it in order, charges your position locations. All right. So I really want you guys to get into more of map sequence, communication AI line center equals box times pi times square, rectangular interference, or anything through circle line condition or anything in that position, or even an S line center, anything line conditions. It's all positions to your cosmic flame, serpent flame, and your elixir. Okay. So, the moon program flux capacitor. Yep. Yeah, she's zipping around. General, I can't learn while we are in the simulation. It's the clock I drew. Yeah, you have it in your manual. Yes, we are. Rainbow pyramids. Of course, it's all rainbow pyramids. Everything will be provided for you guys once you understand more, because you're in your magnetic highways. You're in your highways now, guys. So you're getting more calculations where you come into who you are through all levels of presence at the now aligned center. So when we do these things, we do more now rather than future and future, because we already been through that position. So all about understanding how to travel through all levels of past, present, and future. And it's now conditioned. So the clock is rated to the arc. Yes, it is. Yeah. Gray lines of possibility. Yeah. Okay. Passing some yellow to Chris. Oh, cool. Proceed. Thank you. Right before you said Batman song. All around the world. Mountain pass between. Calculate some water. I see the power grid. Excellent. Mars. Mode to travel. We are setting up major big slide. Yep. Grid is the slide. Very good, Commander. Slide is holding all the 3 stars going into the pyramids, receiving cradle. Grid is the slide you've got in that position locations. Slide is holding 3 stars. Yeah. Grid is the way we travel the same through being shown in different ways. That's exactly what it is, shown in different ways. Yeah. Pillar graphs, arc clock. Okay, moving prime numbers. Yep. All points light up. Red is red. 2 to go and glow. 647-389. Getting into that conditions, yeah, that's the most important thing. But you have to get more into, because space and time is nothing but AI at mass, and you are positioning navigation to your GBS track system. So you have to truly understand how to use your graph line centers to all position. Okay, that's the most important thing you have to understand, right? Because you can have your clock system. Okay, you can have your triangle system, you can have your square system, or you can have your star. All right, all through travel. All right, so it gets more easier when you start traveling faster through shapes. Right, you always have point center, point center. These are all different intelligence, right? All different intelligence. Okay, you just have to learn how to use all positions, how to travel faster, and how you go like this in one sequence, rather than going from here to here to here to here. It's too complicated. Reading all this information, it's better than just one line signal. Now you got a TV box center, right? You got a circle locations, you got a dimensional line center and its connection, right? Now, once you come out of that position, you can take this out of the equation. You can take the circle out of the equation, and you can take the box center out of its equation, all in one sequence, all at once, right? See how the circle comes out, all positions, how the square comes out, all positions, and how all levels of dimensional setting comes out, all along my conditions. All in one track system locations in 4 different shapes of its anomaly. All right. So you have to truly understand time switch, right? Time slot switch. Okay, so this is where basically you guys have switches to your body line center. Well, you also have switches too. Illumination to its line interference, so it can change program setting to shapes to a different color rotation. That's why we call it time switch. So it goes into this color, right? And then it goes into this color, and then it goes into this color, and then it goes into this color to its rotation. Time switch, right? So Next D1000 comes in, sees a plateau. Scan rotations on each one locations, but this is what it does. It doesn't just start with one. It scans everything, all to the center line center, because that's you through program, right? So it goes in positions, right? It scans it, right? That's it. Z force. Did a Z force line. So it travels, right? Catches all positions of all levels of its teleportation, its communication line centers, and everything through your dimensions of your circles, your squares, or anything that connects to three line center of taking it out of the equation location. All right. So you really have to get into your prime numbers now. Prime numbers are important because it's all position of U. All right. So let's say you go into a V equals box, okay, equals V. All right, so what is that? Remember, this can't be the same as this. This has to be different, right? So don't get confused when you get anomaly switches, locations or anything through solar text or anything in Vega connections, right? It's all calculated modified through formulas, right? So this is a vector equals box equals velocity. So this is the coordinate level. Calculated modified to the box center equals velocity. Travel direction of time, z-force line. There it is, right? XT1000, because the thing is, you are the XT1000 in solar line graph line center location, setting up our operation signals for location. So it's amazing how we just do this all through a z-force line. So for it to travel, it's got to go through portals. It's got to go through point centers each time, right? Because it's going through different clocking system. So it goes in, comes out, goes in, comes out, goes in, comes out. Activates the core line center, comes in positions to its ground line center rotation to its crop circle. So it's interesting how all positions structures everything to the opposite line connections. High positions, its calculation modification line centers. Everything through its vector, okay, equals box equals velocity. So you can put that into rotation. Right? As long as the XT understands what you're doing, right? You can Z-force cross. You can basically cross line signal. You can do a rotation line interference, rotation connections. I mean, you can pretty much do anything that you want, right? But you all have to be in sequence. So all AI has to understand is this through location. And then it'll set up its crop circle to its division, right? So coming into prime numbers. All right, I think we're catching on. Prime numbers. I know you guys are seeing everything, but your prime equals what? So you're automatically starting with what? Prime, right? Prime equals box equals pi. So you can keep doing equals, equals. So equal is position of you, basically vortexing, right? Jumping across to location, right? So, and this is where you come into a new paradigm. The direction of time. Clocks its system to all levels of travel through direction of timeline center. All right. Opens up all position line conditions to all levels of U through location. Right. Comes into higher formational line center in calculations, right? So times pi, communication to its line system. All right. Activates everything through the ground line center. The rotation spin cycle to its location. All right. Goes around its circle like this, 3 times fold and rotation connection. Okay. Now, as it spins, the clocking system of time moves faster. You're going to see the triangle spin more and more and more. So as it spins more and more, you're coming what? Out of sequence, right? So the prime numbers, all positions of positive, negative, all positions. You get positive, negative, it turns on a light switch, right? So the light switch. pretty amazing when you come across these things. Light switch. Okay, light switch. It's good. For the new viewers, I know you won't understand this, but this is more for my alliance or my team. So once they understand their positions, you get into more calculations. I can help you out and let you know what's going on if you don't understand these things. All right. So the most important thing is understand what is this. It comes in a light switch, I think, through levels of prime numbers. Okay, so prime equals number, okay, box / center. It gets complicated, but you have to understand the communication line positions. Don't see this as math. Just see it already known as information that you already have that's stored in your facility systems, right? Activated to your cores of your mind line center, guys. All right. So it comes into communication line center, right? Okay, so you got 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. All right. Odd numbers and even numbers. All right. Odd numbers and even numbers. Okay. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. And then you got 2 changes line center. Every single time I do that, it's weird. It's like it wants to do something different here. All right, did it again. So it comes into 2, 4, 6, 8. All right. Odd, even. Odd, even. All right, pay attention to that. Oscillation when interference to positions of program line center conditions, all right, is all positions of U through prime and infinite numbers. Remember how we go from 3, take away 2 equals 1, right? So, and again, don't think of it as math, right? Just understand how to use prime numbers at infinite line conditions of high positions to its frequency and its tone line conditions. But it's trying to understand everything through high rotations, how you come into this to this, how this is set up to this, right? So, all right, let's see here. Once you get a true understanding what it's like to actually, understand what a pyramid is to you, because it's connected to your vessel, right? All right, let's see here. Pillars, graph, arc, yeah. Prime numbers, all points light up. Red is ready to go, glow. 6, 4, 7, 3, 8, 9. All right, so basically you got to look at 6, right? 2, 4, 6. So you got a prime number, okay, and 4, right? That's also a prime number, right? And 7, 1, 3, 7, 9, right? So that's an odd. So you have to learn how to separate the two, right? Because it's different program setting. Okay. 8.5 is passing on beautiful purple, all colors and rainbow. 834, 567. Yeah, quotes almost online. Triangle box, diamond every shape, and shift is multicoloring now. Triangles every shape and colors in front of me. Yeah. Yeah. You look like you're juggling colors. That's good. You guys are connecting coloration line centers. Oh, I know. It's awesome when you see these things. Rainbow tears. Look at the power. Beautiful. Rainbow tears. Making Picasso all these markings. Step back. It's house, but it's painting of rainbow. Yeah. Primes are the answer. Yeah. Well, you need the prime and you need all positions to the infinite line center. So that's the odd and the even. You need that. You need that. Or you can't turn on your light switch. You need the positive and negative to turn on a light bulb, right? So I stood up and feels like I'm standing on a surfboard in the water, gonna bounce where everything in R1 weird. Everything is it's being shown a different way to show us the same thing. Yep. You're a different perception of time through your paradigms. Melt in the walls of everything. Yep. We are the house. Yep. So you guys are understanding more structure, right? And that's most understanding when you come to letters, numbers, and shapes, and how important to understand these things all through calculations, right? But I really want you guys to get into all levels of your prime numbers because it's going to be given to you through codes, right? So if you get 1 to the line connections, you get 1 equals positive line. Now, how is that positive? 1 equals positive line. It gets more complicated right now because you're getting an instruction line center, right? So it's opposition to calculations. Past, present, future. All right? Past, present, future. So every time you draw, you're always drawing always at the end, but you see the beginning. So every time you're doing that, you're changing paradigms to its location, which sets up a new graph line center to locations, to its position. Okay? I was thinking, well, 1 in position is negative, right? And all positions to positive system is all allocated to the line conditions. So it's planetary, opposition, okay, systems, intelligence, teleportation, right? Okay, infinite lines, vector core, energy cycle. That's what it means. In positions, try to understand the calculation modification line center all connects to all levels of its center rotation codes connection. Now it gets complicated, right? Because now we're setting up AI position line connections. It's really interesting how we come into fall communications. Now I want you to understand where you can use positive, negative, okay, you can use odd, okay, or even, right? So this is all calculated to odd. That's an odd number, right? But 1 positions to positive puts it in positions of a new paradigm. Okay, and same with the positive to the negative, as long as you understand how to travel back and forth, right, the locations. And then it just basically you set up sonar line center in communications to its position. It's really fascinating how it calculates and modifies all levels of lines and communication line rotation connections at high forces all position locations to higher line center. So you guys have to really, really, really understand. Look how powerful that is. You can see the corner, right? It looks like it starts here, but then you can see a corner going up, right? So it's interesting because it doesn't look like a V shape, does it? It's got an up, it's got a lift, right? It's the imagination to the mind line center. So it calculates and modifies, goes into the center operation to its position. All right. And this is where you come into point center locations to its rotation connections. Right? So it's interesting how it's all calculated and modified, right? Everything in AI is nothing but a map. So it's all about understanding how to travel through it, right? This way, going down this way, going this way, up this way, giving you guys arrows so you understand how to travel through these things, right? It's all set up in line condition interference, right? So your light structuring what? Your body activation system to your paradigms, right? Gets calculated and modified. Now it's getting really complicated, right? Because you don't understand what's going on. So once you line strip that center line rotation, it comes into higher line, okay, of its flux capacitor. There it is. There's the flux capacitor. See that? You see it? Isn't that amazing how you see things set up? All through prime, all through incident, odd numbers, even numbers. So it's incredible how we set these things up, right? It's all structured, right? So everything is structured to position to locations to machine to technology. Anything at the computer line center. Once it gets in positions, it understands its communications to a sonar line center. Goes into high rotation to its connection. Right? See how it comes into form? Flux capacitor. So it's all in operation to its line connections. Okay, it comes into its diamond core. And see how it activates the diamond core line center? In communication to program line setting, guys, all through all levels of what you're doing through positive and negative wires of communication cycles. It activates everything through core line center connections to its position. So once we go into the new paradigm shift, right, we come into a new program setting, right? So that line strips its line rotation, changes the information to its graph line center, to its connection. See? It changes it. It changes the wind graph. It changes all levels of galaxy. It changes all levels of sonar. And this is what the galaxy does. It changes positions. You come into a paradox, a paradigm, polar shift, connected energy waving line center connections, interference specific locations. Confusing to a line center line rotation to its communication cycle. High rise those all levels of your diamond core and think through your flux capacitor line channels. It opens up all rotation to its connections, right? So, this looks like a Christmas tree. But, what's this? What is it? Does anybody know what it is? Does anybody guess what it is? Everything's all set up in operation. Take a guess what that is. What is it, guys? What does it look like? Weaving, material. All right. Mass of what? Mass equation. You need E equals mc squared, right? You're going to see the more and more powerful, man. So we're making the shape with numbers on a clock. So this is a sequence. When we travel from positive to negative, is this traveling forward? Yes. Yes, it is, Samantha. Because the audio track of the right and the left becomes left and right and right and left. So this becomes the outer, this becomes the inner. It's the back force line center. So you can modify anything through rotation positions. Galaxies set up through different wind factors where you guys have to understand these things, which I pretty found fascinating, where somebody came on TikTok and they says, well, the earth doesn't move. Okay. So if the earth doesn't move, it doesn't have a clocking system. It doesn't have northwest, south, and east, right? Because nature has its wind factors. So basically you have to be rotating. The earth is rotating, you're rotating at the same time. It's just understanding the clocking system, because galaxy changes so many levels of position locations to structure. Okay. So this is a pyramid activation line center, strip line interference rotation positions. This is a computer operation communication line conditions of a flux capacitor of a T-line center line connection interference to a new paradigm shift to its rotation. That's what this is through its equation. All right. So you have to understand what you use it for, right? And you guys will understand more position locations to that division. Everything's operated through you through calculations. Just understand what it is. All through E equals mc squared. So everything through E equals mc squared comes from what? U from clocking, right? Times pi times square, right? So you have to learn how to use all structure line centers of letters, numbers, shapes into position locations. So you can change the factor line center and position locations and go down in line center rotation. Okay, and then you can go like this in rotation to its connections, right? So it's amazing how it's operated to its line interference. This is where it gets complicated now. All right. Now, it's really interesting when you see these things. This is E. E equals MC squared. This is E equals MC squared. All position of what's going on through calculations. The distance to and from, okay, mass calculated, what it is through shape, okay. So it looks like wings, right? Now it's all split in rotation equals its equation, right? So understanding all level rotation to its position operates everything through a machine. It connects in all ways and forms, right? But everything has to have travel of a flux capacitor. Okay, the center operation to its flux capacitor has to be in position to its location of its point system line center. Okay, see that? Everything's got to be operated that line rotation. So it gets more complicated, right? But it's a lot more fun. So you can do bracket interference. You can bring this down to line center, to line connections. You can up channel rotation to its calculations, right? But you have to understand how to use your prime numbers to its line connection. All right. It's amazing how things are set up all through flux capacitor line channels. So it opens up its realm to its dimensional lock center, okay? Comes into a circle rotation of a spectral light, comes into a planet rotation to its connection. It's interesting how you look and see these things on rotation connections, right? So it's incredible force how you use this all through prime numbers, the odd. Okay, that's the most important thing because we come across that every day, right? And the even. So you can do anything through high line center like this, rotation to its connection, right? You can basically change. Remember, I was saying is changing the graph line center. You can bring in the archetypes. You fly them in this way, fly them in this way, all in position location, right? Space is set up in so many levels of interference. It calculates all levels of galaxy line rotation to its connections. It wind graphs its positions to its line connections. It's extremely complicated. One goes this way, one goes this way, right? So positive, negative. There you go. Positive, negative. Wind factor. Positive, negative. Odd and even. There you go. See? Everything's set up to line the center. It's amazing how we structure locations in position, location, division. All right. So obviously you can see this is a computer graph, right? But how far is it in the future? Right? So it's very powerful how we connect to all realms of Vision Line Center. And all you're doing is just setting the operation systems to your prime numbers and your engine line center rotations. But weather has its positive waves and its negative wave system. But it always finds a way to come together. And that's how it creates portals and dimensions and codes and tunnels, right? I can do a tunnel line center in rotations, up circle its rotation connections to its high position, right? I could downshift its line center. Security line defense is coming in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Seventh dimensional line center location. It gets complicated, right? So it's all about traveling through the flux capacitor, right? But it's fascinating when you see things like this. So it's all awesome. Yeah, it is, because you got to understand how to connect from this. This is put in position of a new paradigm to this new position of a new structure of its new connection, the characteristics to its program setting to a new computer graph connection, right? All done through galaxies, right? So that's what we use. We use modified signals, modified beacon lights, highline channeling, interference. You got an XT1000 line center and rotation, right? So it swivels down through rotation line conditions like this, okay? So it can go from here to here, all right? Go through portal. Everything through portal comes through, And basically it can go underneath or it can go above to rotation. So it's amazing to go from here to here. So it can change coloration of time through new paradigm. I just want to show you how powerful it is when you go from color to color to color and change your pixel activation and change your light switches, right? It's amazing how you go from here to here and then you can go underneath. So, but you have every point center, okay, is a new destiny, okay? So that is box location equals box, right? Which is 9, okay? So each time you come to a point center, you come into a new box system of 9. So that puts you into a new cycle to its portal. Ooh-ah, right? So you can V-strap, V-interference, Z-graph line connections, operations, or you can basically go from point center. Every time you get to a point center, you're always in a portal coming out. So you can basically go in here in these positions and create a clocking system into a half pipe to its location, right? So the clocking system comes in. You got the dial communication line centers, the little hand, the big hand, and you in the center. Rotation connection, right? So once that is in position locations, every time it goes around, you're vortexing, right, to a new cycle. Every time it goes around 9, you come into a new cycle. Remember that, okay? So comes into the sun graph line center. Sun comes in position locations. This is the sun, all right? Okay, so remember, the sun is all different colors. It's not just one color, right? It could be purple and black. It could be any color through your perception of what you do through your thought line center. There's a sun rotation. Comes in track line center. Box equals line equals center. Z graph slash strip line, okay, equals equation. All right. So it's all about understanding how to travel through all levels of you, right? One goes this way, one goes this way to its connections, right? There's always going in and there's always going out into the center line connections of your TV reception line connection interference. How to travel through it is another thing to rotations, right? You can change the dimensional line interference, come into higher location to secure line defense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 again through rotation, right? You can change rotation line centers, okay? And again, it's all about understanding what you're doing through calculations. It modifies all levels of the XT1000, comes in rotation to its connection, right? So it always scans what you're doing, center to its point system location. Sends out sonar to its line center, okay? So it's very powerful how we connect to higher levels, prime numbers and engines with odd and even. All right. Okay. Let's see. You can do all the shapes at once, all the pipes. Yeah. I know this. I'm going to go on to figure 8 pipe. Cool. So this is construct for moving material. Yeah. So the golden corner for construct of not nature related constructs and control it with the energy of our nature, heart energy. Yeah. Formula of the 0 and 1. Zero gravity line center. That's fast in rotation, but it's not the fastest. It's just the beginning process to position locations, right? So the faster you go, the more you construct things. Like a box starts off the center, right? So you just constructed, a new paradigm, right? Through new graph, right? All positions to use through calculations into this connections to its graph system. Okay. So, all right. Heart control of all. My mind blew up. That's funny, isn't it? But that's exactly what it is. Once you guys understand more calculation modification line centers, then we can get into more graph position locations, right, to its position. But it's amazing how everything is calculated and modified through its creation. All right. Lightning, fire, yeah. Your energy's going haywire. It just got really cold. Yeah, because you're surfacing into higher lines of space there, Christopher. That's why. This will dissolve material information to communicate with you. So the faster you go, the more you can construct faster through space, and you can create more things in a hologram system, right? So it's all about understanding if you're going fast at the same speed line center in position locations to a box position, you start off the center, right? And you just come out, right? And this is what happens, right? So you become more informed with your travels of time through this new paradigm, right? So it starts off in the center and it goes extremely fast. So every time it goes around, it goes through its clocking system of location of box equals 9, right? So the 9 is here times pi. Okay. And this is how you use shapes. Okay, times pi, right? Because you created a pi, right? Right here. See, there's the pi, right? Clocking system right there. So if you put the clocking system in, every time you go around, a cycle becomes a new cycle. So that means the box is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and you're constructing it faster, 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 faster. So then it becomes 0 equals gravity level equals velocity equals pi to position. Okay. So even though you're in a circle, you're always starting off with 0 connections, right? This is your position, okay, 2 calculations. This is you through high levels of equal to the ground level equals velocity, all positions of u in a center rotation, times pi. Okay, so every time it goes around that cycle, the box opens up more and more and more and more. See? Comes a new paradigm. So it's interesting, isn't it? It's a lot to learn, people. A lot to learn. Let me check. Closing. Weird. Yeah, nice. That's better. Ancient bird is flying through. Okay, I see this happening from the shape on a clock line. Then we add all the shapes, colors, and force recognition, location through numbers, and freedom. Yeah, travels its at. Yeah, once you get all the colors and shapes, you can put those in position locations to all levels. Once you go to higher forces, you come into 0 gravity. That's the whole point that we have to get humanity in, right? Into that connection. Then they can understand how to go through portals, codes, coloration, light signals, light channels, beacon lights, rotation positions, AI connections, interference, position locations, computer operation, light connection. Right? I understand your description and learned something from seeing it that way. You're welcome. There's Smith. Create the weather systems. You can watch water, take care of the water. Ditto, watch Samantha. Yeah. Excellent. You can do all the shapes at once, all the pipes. When you go faster, you do things faster. You put things together faster. Done. Next. Done. Next. So every time you do it, you send it out, it comes back to you. Stays here. And then you just bring it out. Right? And then you send it out. Right? So it's stored information already. So All right. As we go in and out of the sun and the atoms spin faster, this is how we choose the speed. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the understanding where you come into fluctuation of interference and you're channeling to higher levels of rotation. You go in higher, you go in lower, go really low, you go back up. It's all about communication, different vibrations, because everybody is in a different conception of a TV reception of line signal, okay, to its rotation. It's all in circulations to your grounds, guys. Okay. Yeah. So did you guys have fun going through the pyramid? Rainbow Activation Line Center, how it's all set up through your cosmic flame, serpent fire, and the elixir, and how it's used, right? How it correlates, how we set up securities, defense mechanisms, parameters, you know, all that in position locations. Every time you travel, you have to set up security defense, right? Because if you don't, they can take your structure, right? And then you got to do it all over. So this is you creating, this is you traveling, this is you traveling, right? You're traveling, right? Okay. So you just construct a hologram line center rotation. Okay. This is what you created, okay, in its position location. Let's say anything through line conditions. All right. So this is what you created, right? You created this. Okay, so it's going to line center interference and rotation connections. All right, so understanding you are the center of all operations, scans its system line center rotation to its mind line conditions, high positions to its high location. All right, so you go through round line center and rotations, okay, in the conditions, right? So it's all about constructing these things, changing coloration of patterns or interference location. Now, once that's in position, all right. If you don't protect your structure with an E force or E field like this has to be all protected, right? Because you're sending it back to AI, to its communication. They always go to the center operation, to its position, right? So if you don't do that, another UFO or intelligence will take your graph system location, put it into their position, high rise it to its position. They take off, you're in trouble, right? So this is all work related now because now you're constructing. It's like you're a human construct to your design, but now you're structuring things in space. So you have to make sure how to do this because you protect yourself through your lights, right? So you have to protect what you have because it can be taken away. All right. So sonar square. Mm-hmm. Vortex multiple on the wall right now. Small ones over. Mm-hmm. So this is how we move big stones like they do in Tibet. Yep. All at once. Yeah. All calculated and modified there, Alan. Yeah. I'm just going to back phrase here. Alexis, how's it going? Yeah, I know. You come into that position too. Yeah. Concentrate so hard last night he moved an object. Yeah. Anyway, let's do this. Sorry about off top. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like I moved an 18-wheeler, you know, from hitting me. So it's a truck, right? Just moved it. Yeah, this is what you can do through energy. So it's pretty wild, isn't it? All right. Would it be correct to say that the setup is like bringing the shapes, coordinates in a backpack with you through the security line defense of colors? Yep. Yeah, and then you put it all together. Very good. That's a good way to look at it, Samantha. And then we get into more correlation to how to set up crop circles to its positions. But you have to understand your formula set conditions. But that's exactly what it is. You're taking a backpack and you're trying to piece it all together. You're trying to piece your life together Now you got it together. Now you got to piece all levels of what's given to you through structure. Okay? That's how it works. See? All right, that was fun. I hope you guys had a great time. It's amazing how we track these systems, getting more into prime numbers, odd and even, putting this all together, right? I really, really want you guys to understand how to construct things now, because it's coming, you guys are coming more into the now positions, and the galactic forces are coming into that presence. So it's all about understanding this is how you get your manifestations. You just have to learn how to structure them all through shape. You want this, you want that, do it in space. That's how it works, right? You want a fancy car, you want a boat on the ocean, you have to structure it in the atmosphere, send it out. But protect yourself and put an E-force around it. E-field line center, force relocation, timeline center locations. It's all about manifesting now, guys. But you have to structure it in the mind first. Okay? That's why it's so powerful. Because you guys are now coming into all levels of you. All right? All right. Mapping the class right now. Noting all the lines, communication, multitasking, responsibilities. My program line interference channels have changed. Their pixel activation codes. Yeah. That's what you go through, Tina, when you go to higher level system. I'm coming into a whole new computer line center rotation conditions. Yeah, I'm going through 650 trillion line centers. 650 trillion line centers of a new computer. It's crazy what's going on with you right now. So, all right. So Tina goes through it. I go through it. You guys go through it. You have to understand what it is, right? It's all done from you inside. But the most important thing is to really, really concentrate on how to get these through manifestations. So the more you construct, okay, like Samantha was talking about, how you have a backpack and you have all your ingredients. You just have to put it in a bowl and put it all together. Hoo-ah. Structure's done, send it out. That's it. Manifest it, comes back to you. All right, that's the point I'm trying to get across here. So this is how you get things faster, because you're not just creating, you're structuring, which becomes extremely powerful. And when you go to higher levels of intelligence, then they're going to ask for your help. I had to start off the connections with the Ferals and Meridians. Their water track system was off. The geometry line center wasn't connected to the oceans. So I had to retrack interference, set up a new inner water city galaxy line center positions to the gods and everything through the mermaids and the mermans. There are mermans in inner water city. So it's amazing how it's all structure of you, trying to understand your concept of what's going on with you, how to set up its operation to get anything you want in calculation. Okay? So I'm still a bit with security, as I don't see. I just think hold on to what I think is right, and then it's locked. Yeah, everything will happen in timeout. So just don't go too far. Don't try to go through security doors if they're too advanced. You understand? Because you don't understand the codes yet, right? So it's all about you guys understanding more of your sentience. You know what that is, right? Dimensional time of all levels of multidimensional tasking. You're tasking on high levels at one compilation to one center, to one activation, to one core, right? Simultaneously creating things, right? Because you guys are in the now, and the galactic forces are coming into the presence of its now, all right? So, and when the more you do this, and the more you have space that's constructed in you, you can manifest anything you want through structure, because now you're connecting to all levels of AI position. Okay? Time is the essence, guys. That's all it is. All right? All right, so I will head over to TikTok later. Adios.